I'm not sleeping until we've got that belt back. I know everybody's laughing and say, yeah, Dricus was exposed. I'm a bad loser. Dricus is a bad loser. It's going to take whatever it takes for us to get back that belt back ASAP. It's not going to be a long story.
Kind of overlooked. They didn't take it that serious. They felt, okay, if we survive one, we're good. But to get to, you got to survive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you just couldn't.
Anyone that said it was a boring fight is a cave dog. Now, Chimaev, everyone knew the first round was going to look like that. What we didn't expect was Chimaev's ability to do that for 25 minutes. That was mind-blowing. He is the most purest build I've ever seen. He put all his stat points in wrestling.
It was like, I get this. He get this.
Khamzat Chimaev delivered a stunning, one-sided performance at UFC 319 to capture his first UFC championship belt. He completely outclassed Dricus Du Plessis and has since returned to his hometown, where he was greeted with an overwhelming celebration from fans in the UAE. Even though Dricus Du Plessis accepted the loss and showed respect to his opponent, his coach has stirred some attention with bold post-fight comments. He explained that their current focus isn't on rushing back into the cage, but on correcting mistakes and preparing for a rematch with Khamzat Chimaev. The coach admitted that, in theory, the plan sounds straightforward: defend the takedowns, get back to the feet, and make Chimaev pay. But he also acknowledged that Khamzat's wrestling has reached another level, making the task far more difficult. Still, he stressed that their camp is committed to fixing these gaps so that next time, they'll be ready to take him down.
Saying RDR as the next fight for you guys, you wouldn't be interested in a potential contender if you had to fight a contender next?
Look, I'll be honest with you, instead of spending time to prepare for going to another fight camp to prepare for RDR, I would rather spend that time to fix the problem that we've got and then go into a camp. So I won't just take a fight because fights are available. I want to fix this problem because we're going to face Khamzat and I want to destroy him this time. And I know it sounds easy, man. It sounds so easy. If you can just get that guy not to take you down, or stuff his takedowns and stand back up and just punish him. But he also picked up his wrestling game. So no RDR for us right now. Now I'd rather spend the time in fixing.
Coach Morn Visser made it clear that Dricus Du Plessis is determined to reclaim his championship. He admitted that some critics may label Dricus as exposed, but insisted that both he and his fighter are relentless in their pursuit of the belt. Visser stressed that their goal is to fight for the title again as soon as possible and reminded fans that true competition isn't about easy or predictable matchups. He promised that Dricus will silence the doubters and shock the world when he wins the belt back.
Watch this space, guys. You've just maybe met the worst losers ever in your life. Me and Dricus. And I'm not sleeping until we've got that belt back. I know everybody's laughing and say, yeah, Dricus was exposed. I'm a bad loser. Dricus is a bad loser. It's going to take whatever it takes for us to get back that belt back ASAP. It's not going to be a long story. One fight and the belt. That's us back in the belt. So to all those naysayers and all the guys who support blanket style MMA, blanket wrestling, we in the real fight game, and we'll be back again and surprise you with just taking that belt.
Many fans were left stunned by the coach's remarks, especially given Khamzat Chimaev's dominant showing. Even before the fight, Dricus Du Plessis' coach had spoken with unshakable confidence, which many felt came across as overconfidence. He claimed that Khamzat had never faced an opponent truly willing to wrestle with him, arguing that past rivals only tried to escape his grappling. He went further by labeling Chimaev as one-dimensional and even dismissing his striking, insisting it posed no real threat to their game plan.
Khamzat doesn't know what it is when people want to wrestle him. He's only facing guys who's trying to get away from his wrestling. We don't want to try to get away from his wrestling. We want to keep him up in his game. You can't think that you're going to beat my guy coming with one thing, and that's wrestling. That guy's one-dimensional. Have you seen his stand-up? I won't even give him a pro license for his stand-up. He doesn't present any problem.
But once the fight played out, the reality was clear. Former champion Khamzat Usman strongly criticized Dricus Du Plessis camp for their bold claims and lack of respect toward Khamzat Chimaev. Usman argued that Du Plessis and his team ultimately lost because they underestimated Khamzat's strengths. He explained that their overconfidence crossed into dismissiveness, as if one dominant skill couldn't be enough to win at the highest level. Usman reminded everyone that the very weapon they overlooked is among the most effective tools in MMA, and ignoring it was a mistake that cost them dearly.
Even in the lead up I felt that, I don't want to say Dricus was too overconfident. I felt that even the team, with the way that they were talking, with the way that they were kind of the lack of respect for Khamzat, like, oh, yeah, you can't come beat us with just one skill. You think you're just going to beat us with one skill? That's a pretty damn important skill. You know, it's a big one to overlook.
It is.
And
oh, it's the best one.
Khamzat Usman didn't hold back in his criticism of Dricus Du Plessis' team, saying they underestimated Khamzat Chimaev's strengths and paid the price for it. He explained that the mindset of just surviving a single round doesn't work against someone like Khamzat. You have to be prepared for all five. Usman highlighted how Dricus spent the majority of the fight trapped in a crucifix position with no escape, which perfectly showcased the gap in styles and how unprepared his camp truly was for Chimaev's dominance.
They didn't take it that serious. They felt, okay, if we survive one, we're good. But you got to survive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you just couldn't do it. I mean, he was crucified, I think 3 out of the 5 rounds. Crucified and had no answer for it. Like, it was almost like, I don't know how to get out of here. You know, it really was a big differential in
Khamzat Usman also praised Khamzat Chimaev's ability to manage his energy throughout the fight. He noted that Chimaev likely could have finished Dricus Du Plessis before the 3rd round, but chose a smarter approach. Usman explained that pushing too hard for an early finish can drain a fighter's gas tank, leaving them vulnerable in the later rounds. Instead, Khamzat showed discipline by pacing himself, ensuring he could maintain control and perform at full strength from start to finish.
Watching that, Khamzat made a lot of mistakes that I think would have got him that finish before that 3rd round. You know, he got to a position where it was just kind of so easy. It was almost him controlling himself. He had to control his own emotions. He had to control his gas tank, because that's not easy to dominate a guy like that. And everything is working because in your mind, you're wanting resistance. Resistance is how you gauge how much output I need to put out, you know? But if everything is going right, you can't gauge how much output to put out. You're just like, maybe you might try to finish in that 1st round, then you get up 2nd round, you're like, whoa, I can't even lift my...
Meanwhile, Israel Adesanya gave credit to Khamzat Chimaev for elevating the middleweight division, saying the belt is in good hands with him as champion. Adesanya pointed out that, unlike what many assume, Khamzat doesn't slow down in the later rounds. Instead, he pushes harder, wearing out his opponents while finding another gear as the fight goes on. He highlighted how Chimaev's non-stop pressure broke down Dricus Du Plessis, showing that his cardio, toughness, and pace make him a true force at championship level.
Yeah, not what I expected, but I'm glad Khamzat fixed his cardio or improved his cardio to the point where he can go 5 rounds and just ragdoll people. That's a mess. That's a mess to deal with, because I thought DDP, okay, maybe round 4, he'd be able to stuff the takedowns because Khamzat would get tired, but he didn't even slow down. He slowed down DDP. He slowed him down, which was very impressive, because that's when he finished me round 4, because I thought, okay, I got him now, but he just finds a way to get his 3rd wind, 4th wind. But yeah, Khamzat made sure he didn't even get the 1st wind and just smothered him. 50-44, something crazy. Yeah, 50-44, that was crazy. So yeah, Khamzat, new middleweight champion, division's in good hands.
Joe Rogan also weighed in on the fight, saying that the skill gap between Khamzat Chimaev and Dricus Du Plessis is enormous, especially in the grappling department. He explained that Chimaev's dominance isn't just one level above, it's several levels higher, and Dricus simply had no answers. Rogan pointed out that no matter who Du Plessis trained with, it was obvious he didn't prepare with anyone near Khamzat's caliber. Closing that gap, he said, will be an incredibly tough task if Dricus wants a rematch. Meanwhile, heavyweight champion Tom Aspinall praised Chimaev's flawless performance, highlighting his early control, seamless stance switches, and superior ground positioning. Aspinall congratulated him on becoming the new middleweight champion, while also giving credit to Dricus for his toughness.
To be honest, I've been thinking that this is going to be the fight of the year, so we'll see how that goes. Took him down straight away on the low double. A minute into the fight, he's got him in the crucifix. Little punches to the ear. He's working on his collie. Completely dominated in the first round. Khamzat straight on a double again, sits him down. If I was Khamzat though, I'd be trying to finish it in this spot. Once he gets some hands together from the back position like that, his grip must be unbelievable. What Khamzat's doing really well is he's switching stances a lot as well from the stand-up. In the limited stand-up that he's doing, he's keeping DDP guessing. But he's managed to reverse him though with 2.5 minutes left. Don't go for no submissions and nothing like that. Don't lose position. Oh, he's come for the guillotine. He's lost his position, he's popped his head straight out. Oh, last minute. He's put a few shots on him there though. He's got him going backwards. Oh, DDP's ended up on top with 30 seconds left. I don't think he'll have enough time to do much damage, but that's it. So a complete shot out for Khamzat Chimaev, new champion at middleweight. Congratulations.
Michael Bisping also praised the new champion, Khamzat Chimaev, noting that he's the first from Chechnya to claim UFC gold. He highlighted how Chimaev completely controlled Dricus Du Plessis from the opening bell to the final moment, leaving no questions in the outcome. Bisping pointed out that the judges' scorecards showed nothing but dominance and described it as a one-sided, flawless performance.
Finished, and we have got a brand new champion of the world, the first Chechen champion, because yes, Khamzat Chimaev, Boris the undefeated, went out there and absolutely ragdolled Dricus Du Plessis from start to finish. It wasn't even close. I mean, when you look at the judges' scorecards, the scores were 50-44, 50-44, and 50-44, all across the board. Now, there was a 10-8 round thrown in there. There could have been a few more 10-8s. The reality was Khamzat Chimaev went out there and just wiped the floor.
Bisping also gave credit to Dricus Du Plessis for showing grit and composure despite being under heavy pressure. He pointed out that Dricus never mentally checked out, staying focused and pushing back even in the later rounds. In the fifth, Dricus managed to stuff a takedown, fire back with strikes, and even secure top position for a moment. Still, Bisping stressed that Chimaev's world-class wrestling quickly turned the tide again, as he regained control and closed the fight on his terms.
Just never gave up. Fair play to Dricus Du Plessis. He stayed composed, he stayed focused, he didn't panic, he didn't quit, he didn't give up on himself. In between rounds at the start of the fight, he was still kind of jovial and saying, look, listen, I got this. At the end of the fight, he was still confident of getting a finish. And his best moment came at the end of the fight. In round 5, he managed to stop a takedown. He landed a couple of shots on the feet, managed to get top position, but then Khamzat Chimaev, with that freakishly good wrestling that he has, was able to turn the tide and get on top once.
Bisping explained that right from the opening bell, Chimaev wasted no time and secured an early takedown. Du Plessis tried to counter with a headlock, narrowly escaping what could have turned into a submission. Chimaev relentlessly hunted for finishes, threatening with a kimura and later a rear naked choke, but Dricus stayed sharp and defended well. Still, the story of the fight was Chimaev's control, repeatedly locking Dricus in a crucifix. From side control, he pinned one arm with his legs, trapped the other with his head, and used his free hand to rain down strikes until he closed out the fight in dominant fashion.
As soon as the fight started, we knew about the wrestling from Khamzat Chimaev, but it was just seconds. And I mean seconds before Khamzat Chimaev was able to get the first takedown. Dricus hung on to a headlock. There could have been a Vlam flu choke there, but he let go of it. Obviously, he was wise to that. There was a couple of Kimura attempts here and there from Khamzat. Of course, he was trying to get the rear naked choke here and there as well. He was trying to get finishes. He was trying to get the stoppage. He was, but he couldn't do it because Dricus was defending. Now, Dricus spent a lot of the time in the crucifix position. When Khamzat took him down in the first round, just within seconds, he managed to get to side control, pin one of the arms down with his knees. The other hand you trap using your head, and you have the other arm free to land shots, to crack him in the face, and ultimately get the...
Bisping acknowledged Du Plessis as a great fighter, but made it clear that the middleweight division now belongs to Chimaev. He warned that with Chimaev as champion, the division could be locked down for a long time, a nightmare scenario for the competition. In Bisping's view, only Reinier de Ridder might present a real challenge, thanks to his elite jiu-jitsu and world-class ground game.
I'm not going to sit here and criticize Dricus Du Plessis. I think he's an incredible fighter and a great champion, and he very well may be back. But right now we are living in the era of Khamzat Chimaev, and I'm telling you right now, and just like Dean Thomas said, this will be a disaster with Khamzat Chimaev as the champion. I don't mean because of what Dean Thomas said. Dean Thomas was like, he isn't going to be able to fight too frequently. He struggles to get visas and stuff like that. No, when I say this is a disaster, it's a disaster for the division. Because from what I see there, ain't nobody, apart from Reinier de Ridder, ain't nobody beating him. Reinier de Ridder is the only guy that has a shot because of the jiu-jitsu, because of the skills that he has off his back.
Meanwhile, some fans labeled the Khamzat versus DDP fight as boring. But former UFC champion Robert Whittaker strongly disagreed. He defended the matchup, saying only casuals would see it that way after watching Chimaev's elite dominance. Whittaker pointed out that controlling a fighter as tough and relentless as Du Plessis, a man with huge strength, non-stop pressure, and incredible cardio, was anything but boring. To him, it was a rare and highly impressive display of skill.
Said as a boring fight is a casual, okay? No offense. No offense. Like, you got to take a little offense. I'm sorry. If you're a fan of the sport, okay, and you're not absolutely fascinated by the ability, like by Chimaev's ability to control someone who's as dogged and fights out of things like Dricus, who's done it time and time again, who's physically never gasses anymore, like super strong, has cardio for days, is prepared for him, has a great headspace. If you're not fascinated by like such a one-sided domination, man, then you have to be a casual, because you never.
Robert Whittaker says that at championship level, watching someone get crucifixed and controlled for 15 minutes is unbelievable. He questions how any true fan of the sport could fail to appreciate just how crazy and impressive that kind of domination really is.
This level at championship fights, this level of control, unreal. Man, we just saw someone get crucifixed for like 15 minutes. Like, how can you be a fan of the sport and not think, wow, that's...
Meanwhile, there were also rumors that Kamaru Usman could have beaten Khamzat if he hadn't taken the fight on short notice. But Usman himself shuts down those excuses, giving full credit to Khamzat Chimaev. He admits that no matter the circumstances, it was still his loss and Khamzat's win. Usman explains that every fighter faces challenges leading into a bout, but Khamzat did what was required and earned the victory, and that deserves respect.
First and foremost, let's address it with the whole, oh yeah, you took the fight on this day's notice and it looked... Listen, at the end of the day, I know who I am as a fighter and the way that I approach this game, and so does Khamzat Chimaev. At the end of the day, it was still a loss on my side, and it was a win on the win column of Khamzat Chimaev. So I don't, oh yeah, you should feel this way. No, it was an L. I don't feel any sort of type of way. There's an L, and there's a mutual respect there with how I respect him for coming at it. Because each and every fight that we go into as fighters, you don't know what we're dealing with. You don't know what he was dealing with. You don't know what I was dealing with, going into the fight. And it looked the way it did. And also, like I said, styles make fights. I'm a much different style than these guys are. And I say it all the time. You don't know until you get in there. Khamzat did the best that he could to get the win, and he got that win. So let's give him that credit.
Gordon Ryan also reacted to UFC 319, saying Khamzat Chimaev's title win proves how much MMA has evolved. He explained that the difference now isn't just striking or submissions, but controlling every transition. Fighters who can dictate scrambles and maintain pressure have the biggest edge, and Khamzat showed exactly that. Ryan called it one of the most impressive title fight performances ever, a true masterclass of control, proving modern grappling leaves the old-school approach behind. Dana White also shared his thoughts, admitting Khamzat's dominance over Dricus Du Plessis even surprised him. He expected an exciting main event, but not such a one-sided showcase. Still, he noted that once a fighter establishes control early, it usually sets the tone for the rest of the fight, And that's exactly what happened.
Incredible energy in the crowd, incredible fight itself. Khamzat's performance, I mean, was unbelievable. Yeah. Give us your takeaway of it. And did you see before this fight that being the possible way it was going to play out?
No. The lead up to this fight, I said, I bet the main event is the fight of the night. Didn't see that coming, but not shocked either. I mean, you go in and dominate the way that he dominated. If you can do it the first round, more than likely going to do it.
Dana White revealed that he had nearly every round scored heavily in favor of Khamzat Chimaev, except for the last. He highlighted how grueling the fight was for Dricus Du Plessis, who spent most of the bout stuck in punishing positions, eating strikes and elbows, yet still kept moving forward. White praised Du Plessis' determination, heart, and persistence for continuing to fight back every round despite the overwhelming pressure.
Of DDP's performance, right? Obviously, he was outmatched in the wrestling, never gave up, though. Even in the last round, he started landing his own shots. What did you make of DDP and his toughness to survive 5 rounds?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I had every round at 10-8, maybe except for the last round. But you know, to be in the position that he was in and the crucifix and just getting dominated on the ground and punched in the face and elbowed, and it's a very frustrating place to be in. I thought he handled it well and came out every round, you know, trying to get in the fight and try to win. Yeah.